doing a grocery haul today. First time doing it. Just got back from the grocery store, guys. So I'm going to be giving you some tips on things that you want to look for when you're grocery shopping, as well as tell you about the things that I purchased. So we're going to move from this side to this side, and we're going to go through from, I'm starting with some meats and stuff that I bought, and then we're going to be going through some more of the general stuff. So starting off the bat, you can do your grocery shopping, or you can totally reach your fitness goals while you're vegetarian or vegan. I am not at the moment, and so I find it really helpful when I'm trying to be more health conscious, get my correct amount of protein in, to get that from actual meat sources. So here I got some really lean ground beef, 95% lean, great, pretty cheap. The next thing, these next couple foods you will notice are going to be quite unorthodox if you typically only buy like traditional muscle meat or something like that. So one of the primary foods that I try to include in my diet about once a week, or as much as I can fit it in, is offal, or like kidney, liver, organ meat in general, things of that nature. And the reason being is that we only traditionally eat muscle meat in this country, or that's how the culture has kind of progressed in these last couple of years. But really, these foods have been part of our diet much longer than just eating muscle meat. So they have a purpose as well. There's tons and tons of micronutrients in these, as well as kind of helps. The old philosophy in the East that you may be aware of is they used to eat the foods that they were deficient in. So food was seen as medicine. So if we were going to eat kidney or liver, we may be treating those foods like, maybe we're slightly deficient, or our kidneys are run down or something like that. And then they would start including these foods in. So on that similar note, got some pork liver right here. And just moving down the line, lamb shoulder top, a little bit more traditional meat. Again, fat is not bad for you. You want to pay attention to the fat sources that you're getting. So if you're getting chicken, that's going to be full of bad fats and a lot of artificial hormones and growth hormones and things of that, and a lot of estrogens pumped into them. We see these chicken breasts these days sometimes in the grocery store that are just massive, and so that's what you want to avoid. Good healthy fat, however, fat is very an essential nutrient. It is required all the way from your hormonal functioning all the way down to even our cell membranes are made out of fat. So very, very important. And here are some turkey breast chops, somewhat lean, still has a good amount of fat. And the last piece of meat, or last couple pieces of meat that I picked up, chicken breast. Obviously, nobody's surprised by that. Pretty straightforward. And they even had pork heart at this supermarket that I went to. So I picked it up. I've never had it before, and I'm going to be including it in my diet. So down the list, now that we got the protein out of the way, one more animal product actually is milk. I don't really have a problem with milk, and from my research, dairy isn't terrible for you. With that being said, the commercial dairy industry and the way that it's progressed in the last couple decades is obviously not great, and there's a lot of artificial hormones and stuff pumped into them, and that's where we're going to get really the negative effects of dairy. But if your family has been one that has been including dairy for a long period of time and you don't find any sensitivity with it, then I don't think there's any need for you to cut it out of your diet completely. Then again, with that said, if you cut it out and you find that you feel better, yeah, message me and tell me that I'm an asshole, okay? But I'm just trying to say, for general people, you don't have to worry about cutting those foods out in a major way. See how you feel on regular milk if you want to, on soy milk or coconut milk if you choose to do so. Some grass-fed butter from Kerrygold, great stuff. And the reason that it's grass-fed, and that's the way that I try to tackle most of my foods, unless I'm going for price, because meat can get kind of expensive, is for that grass-fed, we're again going to be avoiding a lot of the ramifications of the animal's diet on our diet. So if we eat pork that the pig has been eating very low quality feed, lots of corn, lots of estrogen, just tons of crap, essentially that's going to affect the meat, and then we're going to have that effect on our body from the tissue that we eat, right? Life moves through all of these different forms, and so we want to be aware of the form that we are receiving it in, especially in this day and age. And so some easy carbs next, pitted dates, dried fruit. Really, really, really good food if you're somebody that struggles to gain weight. I'm gaining weight a little bit right now, And I'll be honest with you, I just psychologically, my mind has been so off food lately. I've been so busy, so I'm like, you know what, I just need to start including some of these in my diet again so that I can gain weight a little bit easier. The next thing is just some baby carrots. Carrots are really, really great because they are packed full of micronutrients, and they have a ton of supposed benefits for your health, so I always try to include some healthy carrots in my diet. And now we're going to be going down the list on some more organic, wholesome, vegetarian foods. And what you'll notice with my grocery hauls is that they're primarily wholesome foods. So what I try to do when I eat out, and this also allows me to save a ton of money when I go grocery shopping, is not going for those, marked up, commercialized health products that have all the labeling and all that stuff that, most people that buy those foods don't even pay attention to the ingredient label. So what I try to do when I go grocery shopping is get really simple foods, really simple ingredients, and foods that are going to fight inflammation, right? Because inflammation is going to be the leading cause of most of our major illnesses. And I see food as medicine. So when I want to include foods, I want to have foods that are going to nourish me and that are going to support me in my goals. Because otherwise I feel like, what's the point? Am I just eating food to, stuff my face and feel good? No, I want my food to be my fuel and a great part of my lifestyle that I enjoy. So, some organic apples, really not too much to be said about that. Going down the line, some kombucha, just a couple bottles I picked up. Kombucha is great if you're somebody that might feel like they have some intestinal issues, some gut issues, some stomach health problems. And many of us may develop these over time because of our diet and lifestyle. One of the other ramifications of having a diet that's actually essentially not like this, it's quite the opposite. It's very processed, a lot of chemicals, a lot of artificial sweeteners, things like that. Well, all of those things have a lasting effect on our gut health. And particularly if you are somebody that takes antibiotics without, every time you're sick, you just kind of take antibiotics. All of those things, antibiotic, it's actually antibacteria. And not all the bacteria in our body is bad though, right? It's only certain strains are bad. So when we eradicate our body with these antibiotics of all the healthy bacteria, then it's really hard for our gut and our stomach health to be on par. So when I started noticing that I have these issues and other individuals brought this attention to my light, or brought that my gut health was not up to par with the way that I wanted it to be, then I started including some kombucha during my fast, or some other fermented foods like kefir water, other foods out there, kimchi. There's many different ones, but do your own research. But I would say if you're somebody that struggles with maybe feeling good and having good gut health, then maybe having some kombucha could benefit you as well. And next down the line are some gold potatoes. Potatoes are really great, super cheap, super easy to make into many types of dishes, and they are a carbohydrate source that is going to be low in inflammation, naturally gluten-free, has tons of nutrients already, opposed to something like bread where all those things would be taken out. And I also got some Greek yogurt here, Oikos 000, great macros, tastes great, and totally helps me reach my fitness goals. Some onions, pretty straightforward. Onions to have some health benefits. If you're avoiding it for any reason, I would advise against it. But got some plantains as well. Gonna be frying these up tonight. That's gonna be really fucking good. Plantains are just like big old bananas, but they're a little bit starchier, a little bit seedier, and so you can like grill with them. You can bake them like potatoes or something like that. Low fat cheese, great option if you're trying to diet and still be sane and have delicious foods. A little bit less natural than all these other foods, but I include it because I figure, hey, everything is about quantity and macro level, what we're doing over time. So if eating all of these foods and being generally healthy 99% of the time, I don't feel bad about having cheese or some processed food every once in a while. So that is it. Has pretty good macros, really easy to include in a ton of delicious foods. Strawberries, great food, really high in nutrients, super low in calories. Mushrooms, again, same thing. You'll notice with my haul, bananas right here, pretty straightforward, that I don't have any vegetables. And the reason for that is certain vegetables are going to contain essentially some toxins and some poisons that our body doesn't want. And other grapes like that. Sorry, I just wanted to finish out the fruits before I went on this long rant. But if we think about the practical role that fruits and vegetables play in our environment, then we would see that fruits play a role to be pollinated. They want to spread their seed, they want to grow, and they want to move all around the earth. And then we see that process going on every spring, right? And all these fruits come up. And if us mammals eat these fruits, and then, you know, we run, we move, we go to a different environment, and then we shit, and then these seeds come out, and then the plant repollinates, and then, you know, the life cycle goes on. However, vegetables are not like this. They do not want to be repollinated. They do not have seeds. So many vegetables will have certain barriers put up so that they can have animals less inclined to eat them, right? If an animal eats this plant one time and gets a little bit sick, then they will avoid them. So that's why certain vegetables will have certain chemicals that will have adverse effect to mammals or different animals. One of these that is really big health food actually is kale. They did a bunch of studies on kale and found that over time it's quite damaging to the thyroid and different metabolic functioning in the body. So I would encourage you to include some more fruits in your diet, maybe a little bit less vegetables, and to do research on each individual food that you're having. Don't just look at one fruit or one vegetable like kale, like I said, and think that all vegetables are bad or all fruits are bad. You know, we always want quick solutions to our problems when we're dieting, and we want to blame certain foods, but that's not what I'm trying to do here. All I want to let you know and invite you to do is keep an open mind to your foods, and remember that every food is a special case. Every food is different. So if you can understand the biomechanisms of the body and then fit foods to fuel those, that's at least the way that I think about my diet and my health. And as a trainer, that's what I try to do with my clients as well. So I believe that is all the groceries. Little raisin bran, the cranberries, little random stuff. Those are all the big groceries, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and took something out of it. Let me know if you enjoyed it by dropping a comment and liking below. And let me know if you want me to make more grocery hauls or what topic you want me to cover in regards to diet. Peace, guys.